organizations, everyone who is interested in entrepreneurship and making the world a better place. We want to connect them on one platform. So it's a great place to find like-minded people, like all the amazing human beings in this call, as well as resources that you need for your business. I don't know what you do yet, but I'm hoping to find that out soon. If you're working as self-employed, you always need help from others because you cannot do everything on your own. So that's what we try to help you with at 𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, so we'll find out about you later, or you could be a guest and then we'll find out a lot about you.
Hey, wait a minute. Just take it slow.
Okay, so some people here have been guests already and others are going to be guests. And if you haven't been a guest and you'd like to be a guest, then just let me know and then I'll pencil you in. So just to recap, so it's every Friday. It's called Featured Business, and it's an insight and spotlight basically on a business. You don't necessarily have to have a business yet, but an entrepreneurial mindset. And then it's about learning about you, why you're in 𝗏𝗏𝗏 as a platform, and then how we can help you as a community. It's all about helping one another to grow your respective business or an idea even. And we had a guy that was on as a guest talking about ideas and how to nurture and cultivate an idea into something that could be a business. So we record them, but the recording doesn't go out public. It goes only to the guest. Please. I mean, I've started the recording now, so I should have announced that a little bit earlier. So the recording, I mean, if you're not happy with that, then you can either mute yourself or hide or whatever. So the spotlight is really on the guest. As I said, it could be any type of person, so it doesn't have to be a specific sector or industry or business type. It is open to everyone, and it's about creating visibility. So visibility for them, and then also networking. So everything about how do we help them as a community, and 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is all about enabling that and promoting that. There's tons and tons of things in 𝗏𝗏𝗏. So if you want to learn more, which hopefully you do, then just schedule a call with Ida, Johan, or Victoria, and then they can do it. I'll give you the link to join. I think I already did. So I mean, then you can do that.
But I'll check it out.
Okay, so without further ado, the spotlight is on Maya today, our mystery guest. Right?
Hi, Maya.
Our 28th guest, right? Believe it or not.
Ooh, that's a nice number.
Yeah, so 28th guest. And yeah, we're going to learn a lot about you because nobody really knows about you. You're relatively new to 𝗏𝗏𝗏 as well. And yeah, we want to learn. Before we go into the business, we're going to learn a bit more about who Maya is, where she's from, kind of a bit of her background and what she's comfortable sharing. And then we'll transition into kind of what she does now, anything that she needs help with, and yeah, more about her business. So as I said, it's recorded, so don't jump in yet. So really for the first kind of 20 minutes or so, it's a spotlight with me really asking questions to Maya. And then after that, then we open it up to the audience who can jump in, ask questions. And Maya, you can also ask the audience questions. And particularly when it comes to your business, if you feel that what you're offering would be applicable or interesting to people here, because you also want to gauge interest about what you're doing. Okay? All clear?
Yeah.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
Right. So, Maya. So tell us a little bit about you and where you're from, and maybe about your name to start with, because Maya is kind of the shorter version of your name.
Yeah, actually my long name is 𝗏𝗧𝗏, but everybody calls me Maya because it's a lot easier. And I'm almost 25 years old.
You don't have to share too much, you see. I mean, I thought you were 18.
Okay. I'm from Tunisia. It's in North Africa. And I'm currently working. And I live with my 2 flatmates. Is that too much?
No. The flatmates, I mean, they've been run over by a steamroller.
No.
Well, that's how they're flatmates.
Yeah, two flatmates.
Okay, I'm just joking, you see.
Um.
So the flatmates are also colleagues. work colleagues?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll come on to that in a minute. So just so you know who they are.
Okay. What else? I studied English in university because I was good at it and I didn't know what to study, so I went for English Lit, and then I graduated, and I taught in a private school for 8 months. It was horrible. So I quit, and then I joined a call center. It was in French.
Oh, hang on a minute, you're going too quick, right? So
What
let's
do
go
I
back.
say? Tell me.
Right, so I'm going to prompt you here. So
Okay.
even though you got a beautiful English accent and stuff, well, maybe not so much English, but a bit of a twang of American there. But I mean, your English is excellent. But you did study English literature as well. So you speak some Shakespearean English?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. You didn't learn Shakespearean English literature?
No, we had Shakespeare, but I didn't really like what I was studying, so I skipped most of my classes. Shame, shame.
Okay. So just going back, your parents are both from Tunisia.
Yeah.
Right? So you are 100% Tunisian.
Yes.
And the languages in Tunisia, for people that don't know?
We speak Tunisian dialect and we mix it with French.
Right. And Arabic there as well?
Yeah, Arabic we studied at school.
Okay.
And we also study French and English at school.
And the typical street language though is?
The Tunisian dialect.
Okay, all right. Right. And Tunisia, as we see, is a beautiful place. I know a few people actually live in Tunisia. I should connect them to you. But I mean, yeah, what is a typical look of a Tunisian then?
Typical look?
Yeah. More olive skinned or not necessarily? Or is it a mixture?
No. Like I'd say mixed.
Okay. All right. So you've got any siblings, brothers, sisters, anything?
Yeah, I do have one younger brother.
All right.
He's at uni.
Right. And yeah, he's studying, he lives at home, I guess.
No, he lives alone. He's pretty independent.
All right. So how old is he? Just out of curiosity.
He's 20.
All
20
right.
years old.
Okay. Right. So you live with some flatmates and you, well, first of all, just going back to your schooling, you learned lots of languages, and then also you went through a number of different jobs, actually. So maybe go from your schooling. So you learned into English literature, and then what was kind of your area of interest at school?
I liked linguistics, and I like poetry too.
Poetry?
Yeah.
What, reading it or writing?
No, reading. I don't write poetry. I write, but I started writing diaries at first, and then short stories, and now I'm writing blogs.
Okay. So blogs about anything in particular?
Yes, about beauty and about motivation and some blogs for my company too.
When you say navigation, what do you mean by that?
Motivation.
Ah, motivation. So navigation. Thought you were captain of a ship or something.
No.
Okay, so motivational blogs.
Yeah.
But this is more personal, or that's for the company as well?
I don't share a lot of my blogs on social media. I just keep them for myself. Okay. Pretty selfish, I know. But for the company, the ones I write for the company, I do share them on Medium.
Okay, and your own stuff we can see, or it's pretty private?
Me? What?
I mean, for your own stuff, your own personal stuff, your poetry and stuff, motivational stuff, we can see it somewhere, or no?
No, I didn't share it anywhere.
No, you don't want us to see it?
I will share it next Friday in the chit chat.
You will share it. All right. But it is posted somewhere online.
No, it isn't.
Oh, it isn't. Okay.
Yeah.
But you could recite some today? Some poetry or something?
I don't write poetry. I just write short stories.
All right.
And
But then something, you could recite something today or not?
recite something.
Okay, all right, we'll move on from that. I was just trying to put you on the spot, so a bit.
No.
Right. So you also you've got a passion for fashion.
Yeah, I do. I was a fashionista back in uni, but not anymore.
But what sort of fashion? Clothes or?
Yeah, clothes. And I also did some photo shoots. So I did the model's makeup and styled her outfit too.
You were the model?
No, I shoot the models.
All right, okay. But you could be a model as well.
No. Pretty awkward when it comes to posing.
Yeah,
You're
I was
that.
yeah, I was always joking when I was a kid about being a model, and yeah, you always get the banter from your siblings, and they say, "Yeah, for shoes." Yeah, so they'd only ever see my feet, right? So, but anyway, we digress. So you like humor as well. So you got a good sense of humor.
I don't know. Do you think so?
Well, yeah, I think so. But
no, you don't.
I do. But I mean, you know, when you learn English, I mean, part of literature as well is also about humor. So, I mean, Eva could probably tell you, living in London has probably completely changed her English.
I used to tell a lot of knock-knock jokes, and people hated me for that.
Oh, yeah. That's your humor, knock-knock jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty famous for it.
Like, come and give us one then.
Okay, you guys are ready?
Yeah.
Please don't cringe. Okay, knock knock.
Who's there?
Orange.
Orange who?
Aren't you gonna open the door for me?
Okay. Terrible.
Okay, wait, I have another one.
I've got one for you. Actually, if I can remember it from school. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Doctor.
Doctor Who?
Exactly.
Oh! I should add this to my knock knock jokes.
It's terrible. It's
No,
terrible.
it's funny. Everybody's laughing. Look at them.
But they're not.
I love all of them.
Crying.
They're cringing.
A mix of both, I think.
Moffat is like, okay, go on.
Okay, moving on from that. We'll save those for later.
Okay.
Right. So anyway, you in the many different types of jobs that you've done, right? You also met someone interesting that kind of changed some extra languages that you started learning and to where you are now. So maybe tell us a bit about that, how that happened, because you speak Arabic, French, English, you studied English literature, and then for some strange reason, you decided to learn Korean.
Yeah.
Why?
It was a summer that I met a Korean family, and they didn't know any English or French or Arabic, so it was pretty hard to communicate, and I had to learn Korean for them.
Right. And so you speak Korean now?
Yeah.
All right. And you had a number of different jobs, which you said when we talked, you loved them, and you loved your boss or something. Or did I get that wrong? Did I mix it up?
Yeah, I loved her so much. She was, God bless her. I'm joking.
Yeah. So
Basically,
you'll go and carry on.
okay. I was saying, I started teaching at a private school. I taught English to 6-year-old kids and 12-year-old kids. And I loved teaching. It was fun. The kids loved me. But my boss was not fun.
Pleasant.
Yeah, she was mean, pretty mean. So I quit. And then I joined a call center, a French one. And it made me pretty anxious because my French is not that good. Like, I know how to speak French, but I don't sound French when I do speak it. So I wasn't comfortable, so I quit. And then I met this family that I told you about, the Korean family, and we became friends, and I started learning Korean, and then I applied. Oh,
Then
yes?
you quit?
No, no, I didn't quit. I'm still learning till this day, actually. And then I applied for another job, which is a 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗥. It's a Japanese company in Tunisia that draws Japanese apartment maps. And
Right. So, but this is not freehand. This is using a computer or something.
yeah, we used a Japanese software similar to WebCAD, if anybody knows. And when I joined, I loved the job so much, and my manager was pretty cool. Like, I felt like she knew how creative I am, and I was pretty happy, and I tried to spread my happiness all over the place. So she assigned me to do these fun activities at the company, and we did a lot of happy hours, and we laughed a lot. And then I joined the human resources team to do like interviews and take care of like paperwork and stuff. And it was also fun. And then my boss suggested me to join a new project, which is a K-beauty project. So I said yes, and it was also fun. We had a lot of interest in events, and now we currently own an online shop in Tunisia to sell Korean skincare and beauty here. Still going. Currently, we're like struggling to ship the products all the way from Korea to Tunisia because of the stupid pandemic. But yeah, and one month, my Korean team came to Tunisia and they got stuck here because of the pandemic. They couldn't go back because they closed the borders. And it was pretty hard for us to communicate the Japanese, Korean, and Tunisian teams. And we tried using a lot of communication tools and it didn't work. And some of them got even fired because they weren't doing their tasks properly. It was horrible. So we had this idea to,
No, carry on. Sorry, it's just someone joining.
Oh, hi. Anyhow, we had this idea to build a virtual office for us to communicate well during these hard times. And we made it. We developed a service. It's a virtual space where you can host events, do remote work, gather up with your community, do parties, weddings, whatever purpose you have in mind, really. And that's what I'm currently working for.
Okay, so you do kind of two things. You do the beauty thing as well?
Yeah.
Right, but that's kind of part-time or whatever. And the one that you're doing now that you just explained about the online tool is more,
𝗬𝗪𝗧.
that's the full-time one.
Both are full-time, actually.
All right. Okay, so you're busy.
Yeah.
So in your apartment that you share, the two other girls are to do with the 𝗬𝗓𝗪𝗧 job.
Yeah.
The 𝗬𝗓𝗪 is the right pronunciation. 𝗬𝗓𝗪𝗧.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it's 𝗬𝗓𝗪. A
Okay.
lot of people pronounce it 𝗬𝗓𝗪, but it's
Yeah.
fine.
Right. So 𝗬𝗓𝗪𝗧, yeah, is right. Maybe so you mentioned that you wanted to share something to explain what it actually is.
Yes.
You wanted to share a slide or something, or the screen?
I can share. I have a slide. It has pictures, and I can share the screen. Can I share? Do I have?
Yeah. One second. Oh, sorry, I pushed the wrong button. So I'm going to share mine. But hang on a minute. I've got to stop sharing mine. I'm just going to give you access to share them. Okay, then now you've got access if you want to share something.
Okay. How do I share that?
Okay, if you go to the green, this green.
Oh yes, it's
in the
okay.
bottom.
Stupid me.
This is just to kind of visualize what you do.
Okay. Second dusha.
I'll sing while you're preparing.
Okay.
Not really. Have we got any singers here? Oh, we have a singer. Yeah, Sheila, you can sing while we're waiting. You're on mute. Whilst we're waiting, Sheila's going to give us a song.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Because there you go, you see?
Okay, am I sharing my screen now?
Yes.
Yes, you're showing a Zoom.
Okay. This is 𝗦𝗘𝗘𝗏.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, okay, I was away. Okay. Oops, that's too much. Basically, this is how 𝗬𝗓𝗪𝗧 looks like when you enter. This is the tour space that we have for clients or people who want to explore the space. And you'll be presented as an avatar, and you have a name, and you can add a picture. And the concept is pretty close to reality because at 𝗬𝗓𝗪𝗧, the voice is different from other apps, because if somebody joins in here, I will have to get closer to them to be able to hear their voice and for them to hear mine too. And if we get away from each other, our voices will get lower gradually and disappear eventually if we're too far from each other. To move, you just click anywhere and you'll be automatically there. And you can also share your screen, your camera, have a meeting. This one is for people who want to speak from a farther distance with a clear voice. You can share YouTube, jot down some notes. And we also have rooms in here. We have two types of rooms, meeting rooms and silent rooms. The silent rooms are for introverts and the meeting rooms are for extroverts. You can build as many rooms as you like. You can also change the layout, and you can add pickets and signs and videos, just like the ones I added in my tour space. And yeah, me and my teammates come to 𝗬𝗓𝗪𝗧 every day. We hang out, we work. I'll show you my team because James was pretty curious to meet them. These are like some members of the team. I couldn't gather them all in one slide. And basically, this is like our daily routine. Some people are sharing YouTube and brainstorming for some features. Others are having a meeting, and some other group are having like a Scrum meeting too. This is us today. We had a tea time session. It was pretty hilarious. We played Truth and Dare. These are like some events people organize. This is a community event. This one is a networking one. This is Halloween party, networking event. This is a language exchange event. This is a dating event. And this one is for karaoke.
Right. So you said one was a dating event. So I mean, singles get together and they can go in an event there and meet others.
Yeah. Like we gathered boys and girls, and they met at Ovis, and if they match, they would go into a meeting room, lock the door, and blah, blah, blah. And others, like unfortunate people, would just hang out, play games, and...
Could you do some speed dating there as well?
Oh, yes.
You could do speed dating.
Yeah, we did that too.
I mean, really dating, and then another one is meeting, obviously, prospects and stuff. So who would this be for then? I mean, so it looks great, and I mean, the first thing I think of is kind of a co-working place, in the way that you can't physically go there, but now you can have a virtual co-working place, so you can still go and you can see you at your desk or table or wherever. And then you can have, I guess, things like do not disturb. So I'm busy.
Yeah.
So when you're at home, you're virtually there as well, but you're saying I'm busy because you're on a call or something. But then when I want to be free, I could then walk across to the coffee area and say I'm free. So something like that.
Yeah. Actually, I was setting myself away because I was afraid someone would come and not find me. So I used this coffee cup icon.
Yeah.
You use it to set yourself away so others know that you're not available for talking, or you left your desktop and doing something else.
Okay.
And once you're back, you just click on back.
All right. But then you can go to a coffee area and say, like, I'm free now for people to come and drink a coffee with me.
Yeah. We have at our private office, we have a space. It's called Meme Land, where people gather and share memes and make jokes about each other. And
okay.
we even
So that's where you do you have a knock room.
Not really. Whenever I want to tell a knock jokes, they're like, Maya, no, not this time.
Okay. All right. So maybe just in the essence of time, then we can kind of switch back. I don't know. Did you want to show anything else?
No, it's fine.
Okay. So if we just come back so we can see each other, right? So basically, you've shared this with anybody on this call already?
Yes, with Johan and Victoria.
Oh, wow.
And you.
All right. Well, yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I think it is kind of a new way of working, bearing in mind that we're all working from home, and it gives you, I mean, you still carry on your day-to-day stuff, but you can still have that virtual presence somewhere that other people can see.
Yeah,
so
true.
I think it is quite nice, because if you did go to a co-working place and you can't, but you still want to have that community feeling that you're with your co-working colleagues, then it could be something that would plug into even Entnest. So you could see that I'm present and I'm online, and where you're going to find James, well, James is there somewhere. Oh, there he is. He's drinking coffee, doing knock jokes or something. Right? Go and join him.
Yeah.
But, so who are your typical clients for this?
When we started, our clients were only Japanese, but now we are trying to go global.
That's because it's a Japanese company?
Yeah.
Or Korean company?
It's a Japanese one.
But the founder is Korean?
He's Korean, but he's made in Japan.
He's made in Japan.
Yeah.
But you don't speak Japanese yet?
I only know a few words.
So you're going to drop the Korean, quit that one, and learn Japanese now?
I've started learning Japanese. It was headache, and I
Yeah.
have to learn it because now we recruited a lot of Japanese members, and most of them don't know how to speak English. And whenever I come and say hello, they freak out. So I have to do something about
So how do
that.
you say hello in Japanese?
Konnichiwa.
Same to you.
Oh, that's lazy.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those languages that's just hieroglyphics to me. So I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So anyway, so where are you? So how long have you been in this company?
For 2 years now.
So sorry,
2 years.
2 years. Okay, and your colleagues there are they your flatmates?
Yeah.
That have been run over by steamroller. Yeah, they're doing something also within the company.
Yeah, they belong to the debug team.
You didn't want to bring them on the call then, say hello.
I told them 100 billion times.
And
They're like, no, we don't know anybody. I'm like, come on, they're nice people. And I slacked one of them, and she was like, sorry, I'm in a meeting with one of them.
But you do all different roles within the company.
All of us or me?
I mean, the three of you, you do different.
Yeah.
So what are you responsible for?
I'm responsible for a lot of things.
Okay.
Okay. So first, I was responsible for editing and writing the English content and making the website landing page and everything related to English. And then I joined the design team because they needed help. We have only one member, one designer. So I had to help with creating content for YouTube and for some posts on Twitter and the layouts too. And then I joined the marketing team because they also needed help. And yeah, now I also do support, customer support. So it's all.
So you wear different hats.
Yeah.
But you, for the English side of things, so when you say about content and everything else, this is all for the English part of the business. I mean, to promote it in English.
Yeah. Gosh, someone is speaking Japanese.
Yeah, that's Walter.
Shayla.
Shayla, like this.
Genki desu ka?
Oh yeah.
Genki desu ka?
Bob Dylan, right? Okay, karaoke, whatever. Okay, I'm trying to read that and talk to you at the same time.
I only know a few phrases from Shogun. 𝗪𝗡𝗪𝗪.
Oh, is Maya based in Tunisia itself? Yes, I am.
Okay. Anyway, back to you. So you're kind of responsible for a number of different things. You're now, your focus is to bring kind of this Japanese product into the kind of a European or global market with English speaking. So you're focusing on that side of the business.
Yes, true.
Right. And the typical clients that you have would be then who would be interested in this?
Mostly companies who are looking for remote space and co-working spaces and event speakers too.
Okay. And then you mentioned you can have it kind of multi-layered in the way that you can have on different floors, different activities and all sorts of things. So it's not just kind of flat. I mean, you can have it.
You can have access to many floors in like the same space.
Right. Okay. And so where are you at the moment and kind of what help do you need?
I've just started networking recently. I know nothing about networking or marketing or anything related to that. I'm pretty new in this field and I'm learning by myself, learning as I go, taking baby steps. And I tried to contact some organizations. They were pretty nice enough to join and explore the space. Some some of them even applied for a trial, and I was pretty happy to see that. And like now I'm just looking for people who are willing to try out Ovis and just have this experience with their teams or their guests or whatever they are doing it for, because it's really up to you. What do you want to do with Ovis is up to you, because we can make it happen whatever you want it to be.
Okay, so it's not necessarily for the individual, it's more for a company, because a company can then, like you mentioned, co-working place or an organization that could have different departments, so they could have different teams, and then they can have visibility of that. So kind of your online presence is seen by maybe your boss or whoever within the team.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
okay, you have customers at the moment?
Yes, we do.
Okay, but mainly in Japan at the moment.
Yeah, mainly in Japan, and a few other ones from the US.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So at this point, because I mean, I don't want to go in and learn all the bells and the whistles about the product, right? I want really you to ask the audience questions and the audience to ask you questions, maybe either about you or Tunisia or what you're doing or how they can help and stuff like that. So have you got any questions to the audience? As in, like, would this be interesting to you, or you know a company, or you've been in a co-working place that you could recommend, or something like that?
Yeah, actually, I don't know what most of the people here do. I only know what you do, and Johan and Ida and Victoria. But I don't know if anybody in here is interested in trying it out. Because I don't know.
think the name looks familiar. I don't know how long is this Ovis available for. I tried to search my emails, but didn't find it, because I have a feeling that I was on this platform for a short time, but maybe it's wrong.
Oh, you have
Not
visited
sure.
it before? No?
Not sure. It was looking familiar for me when I just now typed in, but not sure. Just looks like something familiar that I saw in the past.
Okay.
But I will be happy to see, to join and to explore.
Can I ask you a few questions, Maya?
Yes.
I start from from the first impression. I've never seen it before, and the first impression that I got is it reminds me of the Super Mario games of my children, or my boys, about 20 years ago. The look, the simple, what you call it, the user surface or experience. And I wonder if people who want to create a co-working space or a visual presence or whatever, they might have options to use Microsoft Teams and loads of other products, or they could just set up their own daily Zoom conference. The only difference is it wouldn't look so colorful and nice, but I could put a screen with a coffee cup behind me, or I could even ask my friends and come, oh, okay, who wants to do some limericks with me? Yeah. So I just wonder what would stop anybody from doing what you are doing? That's number one. Number two, if I, with the little information I have, would compare it to anything that I've seen on the market, two things come to mind. One is a very extended version of Zoom, which is called Hop-In, and it's used for virtual events like even virtual trade shows. And you have your meeting, your big audience, you have your small breakouts, you can have sponsor rooms, etc. This is where the money usually comes in. And the other that comes to mind is a very ancient system that existed about 25 years ago in Germany, based in Berlin. I think it was created by a company called 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪, and they offered an audio. There was no Zoom around. An audio system called Titanic, and it was an audio version of the Titanic ship, a luxury cruiser before it sank, not after, not while, before it sank, and it had everything that you wanted to have. It had a casino, it had a showroom, it had, everybody has a private cabin. You could go on the deck, you could meet people everywhere. You could go into it, look for people, and the system would tell you, oh, he is just in his room enjoying champagne. And you would hear a champagne cork pop, and etc. And they run it for free for more than 2 or 3 years. Nobody really asked why they were doing it, but they were testing it. They run this for free to test how to take payments via telephone for all sorts of services. So now that could be something let's say on a complete platform. Take payments for meetings. People could rent space for a certain time. What are your intentions? Where are you looking at, or have you not thought that through yet?
Okay, so to answer your questions, I know there are a lot of communication tools out there, and I'm not saying they're not great. I think they're perfect, and I know a lot of people are using Zoom and started using Zoom since the pandemic have started, but we wanted to have something more realistic, more natural, more familiar for other people to use. We didn't want to have the notion of having to call someone or having someone to join your meeting. We wanted a space where everybody can exist in the same space and you can reach out to them at any time you want. Just go to them and talk, just like in real life. If you see someone, you just go say hi. If you see them busy, I don't know, working, you say, okay, talk later, and then they come like to talk to you. And that's our main purpose, is just to reflect a natural and real human behavior in Ovis.
I mean, Maya, for me, how I would conceive of something like this is I'm a solo entrepreneur.
Okay.
But I may run on a monthly basis for my high ticket clients. I may run a monthly mastermind. And that would be a place where they can virtually come in and sit on, lounge on a couch. And we talk about, whatever the particular subject is that particular month. I could see it in events like that. It would be useful because people don't have to actually, like we do here on Zoom, show our faces or hide ourselves by switching off our cameras, but can use their memes and still be individuals, and people can still interact with each other as individuals, but they maintain that sense of privacy to a certain extent, as much as you can have privacy online these days. So I think for me, at least going forward, I mean, I haven't formulated this group yet, but going forward, I think that would be something to try out anyway and see how that would work. I think it would actually, in that sense, particularly because of the subject matter that I deal with, would actually work quite well.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I kind of see it. I mean, I've worked for many international companies, and my roles were mainly in sales and marketing. So I'm in Europe, and the headquarters typically in the US, and then you've got salespeople scattered all around the world. Now, yeah, it's hard enough to get everybody to come on a call, let alone know what they're actually doing. So if you had something that kind of a front end, a dashboard, or something that you visualize that you could see where your colleagues are, then you've kind of got that the online virtual appearance, and you know where they are. They're either on a call in their meeting room, they're doing something. So you're replicating what you're doing at home, but giving someone that visual appearance of that they can see if you're busy or whatever. It's kind of in a way, not necessarily a big brother tool that you're watching on people, but you know where the team are. So if you wanted to like, as you said, go around and sit at their desk because you need some help from a colleague, then you can go around to their desk. But if they're busy because they're on a call, then you know not to disturb them, rather than saying like, oh yeah, I'm busy, then call me back in an hour, and they're busy again, and you can never get hold of them. This way, you kind of like, they know that you're around and you're trying to get hold of them. So that's how I see it as being some value.
Do you also have a side entrance for the people who do not want to be seen when they enter the system?
Can you come again, please?
Do you also have a side entrance for the people who don't want to be, let's say, VIP clients for whatever purpose? They don't want to march to the front door and be recognized by everybody. They want just go straight to 𝗓𝗪𝗧 room, for instance.
Yes, we do. If you're, let's say, if you have a space and you have someone coming in as a client or a VIP person, like you're saying, you can redirect them to a certain room just specifically for them, and they can lock it from inside so nobody can come and interrupt them.
The broom cupboard.
I can see some immediate value. We should talk about this separately. I can see some immediate value for coaches who work for instance with spatial anchoring, spatial anchoring, timelines, etc. But then it needs to be absolutely sure that this place is completely data secure.
Yeah.
You need to have an absolute reliable privacy.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this separately.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, I used to work on lots of different bids, like for client proposals and things, and we formed a bid team, but we were all over the world, the team. Now, if you could see them like in a place, so you're still working at home in your normal way, but now you know your team are there and you can see them. And then if they've popped out, I'm going to lunch now. So then, okay, no problem. And then they've gone to lunch. You could even have like post office there. They, right, this person's now going to the post office. Or you could kind of create a virtual shops that the person's going to, I've got to pick the kids up from school. So you've got the school sign there. And then you could make it really fun as well. Right? But anyway, it's not about me and what I would like to see. It's about, so what you need to do is connect with people that want to kind of give this a demo and try out.
Yes.
So you're reaching out to organizations, and what do you need help with? Because you said you're kind of learning as you go. So can we offer you any help?
I have a question, if anybody knows. So I started a Twitter account for 𝗬𝗧, and I looked over on Medium and some articles, and I followed all the tips and tricks they said to gain followers and have people noticing your Twitter page, but I only have 1 follower.
When did you open the account?
2 weeks ago.
You got to give it some time. And I think that it's also very good to be able to commit to publish something more regularly. Like if you do it every day once, people, will start finding out, because, oh, this one is probably, putting something out there every day. So I'll be looking forward to the next day, what you're going to share. So it does need a little bit of time. I like the idea of what you're offering. Funny enough, it reminded me of some games because I worked with children. So I know all these little machines and PlayStations and little, what was it called? Little, I can't remember the English word now, where you can actually see yourself going to a kitchen, cook, and you have to struggle and serve the food. So it's very fun. So from that point of view, I really like it. I look at it as a meeting point, which enables anyone to have a space to know, just with looking at the screen, whether if someone is available or not. So that makes things a lot easier rather than if we physically were there, we have to knock on the door and say, oh man, I came all this way and you're busy on the phone. I'll have to go back. And I don't think that is the case, you know, because you just have a glance and you know about others and others may know about you. So I love that idea. And I think it's also very good for introverts as well. Introverts, they need a space. They also need to interact with other people, but they are more private. And if you facilitate that service, obviously, you know, that would make it easier. And they don't have to ask, oh, is Peter or John here? They just look and say, oh, here's my buddy. Let me just go silently because that's what I do. You know, I see, oh, he's there. Let me go. And I wouldn't even, you know, interact with anybody around me. And that makes things so much simpler. But yeah, with regards to Twitter, I think perhaps the most important thing from my point of view is to put something out there every day. You can commit with once every day and people will notice it. It's just a matter of time. So don't beat yourself up. Okay, that's what I would say as well.
Yeah, I would also agree that it's time, but also consistency. So you have to build a strategy. It's not something that's like you're just doing because, okay, let's try and see if there's followers. No, just build the actual strategy. And there's a lot of sources that say what times work best, especially if you want to do European market, then research what times work best for Twitter. And Twitter is a weird platform, I would say, social media, because it's more about commenting, sharing your opinion, and yeah, it's sharing opinion. So what content you should put out is the one people would like to comment on. You should define some trends, especially the ones that are around your company and what you do, and what people talk about, and then try to kickstart those conversations. And another way to get noticed by people is by commenting on other people's content. So you have to find profiles that would be maybe your clients or maybe something that's closer to the company, right? What they do. And start commenting, but not like fake commenting, like, oh, good job, great news, blah blah, but just actually engaging as if you're a person.
Of course.
And then other people are gonna see your comments and they're gonna be okay clicking on your profile and seeing, okay, this is worth following, you know?
Yeah, because I started my personal account on Twitter and I tweet stupid things and people retweet it and I'm like, what's wrong with you people?
No, but Twitter is about that. Twitter is about just sharing opinions, thoughts, and random stuff.
But I think
honestly, the name Vice in the name, it might actually put people off. Vice is associated with sex workers.
Oh, what?
She said it was a dating room, didn't she?
You have a dating room, definitely. That's as far as you can go with sex. My understanding.
Vice.
It's actually Ovis.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It looks like Vice.
Yeah.
Looks like.
I'm sorry.
I thought about this.
Do you know
everyone.
A whole car went down the tubes years ago because of that? There was a Chevrolet Nova that was produced in the States. They sold it in Mexico. Nova doesn't work. Total dud because of the name.
Yeah, so
names are important.
Yeah, they do have a
so remember, it's a Japanese company. So whatever name might work in Japan doesn't mean it works in the rest of the world. So you have to be, I mean, I couldn't even pronounce it first because you said it's Ovis. I thought it was all Ovice as well. Right? So which then could lead to you thinking. So I know that
they pronounce it as Obis, not Ovis.
I know we're kind of coming to an end and we could carry on this conversation for a long time and interesting, but I think before you start using any social media, you need to define who your clients are going to be.
Yeah.
Because your clients, it depends on where they hang out. I mean, if your clients don't hang out on Twitter, then it doesn't really matter how you're going to promote on Twitter, that they're not going to be there. So if your clients are going to be, I don't know, maybe you could think that who are suffering at the most at the at the moment because of COVID and whatever. Co-working places, the people can't go there. So they're working from home. But I am going to say that I want to be still virtually in my co-working place. So how can I do that? So something like this would give them still the same experience, but working from home. So maybe, this is just thinking out loud at the moment, if you thought, right, like in Switzerland, or as an example, who are all the co-working places in Switzerland, right? Now, you can find them on Google easily, and then just reach out to them and say that we've got something, you're probably struggling, you're probably losing business, would you be interested in a demo? And then they'll probably say yes, and then so you don't need to, so that there's kind of the pull marketing and the push marketing in the way that you can explore what to do, but rather than start just posting kind of willy-nilly and think, well, I haven't done my 3 posts today, I've got to work on my posts. I think a better way is to reach out to people that could really benefit from this, and then see if you could do a demo with them. Don't you think?
Yeah, you're right.
All right.
I
Anyway,
do that too, but not too much.
right, we kind of come to an end. I mean, anyone that wants to stay on, we can stay on and chat. Otherwise, I mean, Slava has just joined now. He's got the time wrong.
Again.
As usually.
Regular.
You know, Slava was the guest last week. Was it? No, the week before. Last week? I can't remember now. But anyway,
No,
last week.
He was even late for his own. Can you believe that? Right. But anyway, if you want to stay on and chat a bit more, then feel free. But I mean, basically, we've kind of come to an end. If what we'll do is, for Maya, if people want to reach out to you, you can make your information available. I mean, you can put in the featured business event. You could put links that people can follow.
Mm-hmm.
If you're struggling with any of that, because I know that you're new to 𝗏𝑁est as well, you can reach out to Victoria.
Yeah, actually, Ida gave me a tour of 𝗏𝗏est, and David
a virtual
too.
tour.
Yeah.
A virtual tour.
Yeah, on 𝗏𝗏est.
Right.
It was fun, and yeah, I will ask anything if I need help from Victoria.
Yeah. So it was a pleasure having you on this call.
Thank you.
To be our
It was
28th
fun
guest.
talking to you guys.
We've learned more about you personally.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 2 new guests that have come on, or in participants in the audience. So thanks, Fabrice and Eva, for joining.
Thank you.
If you want to be guests also, I mean, the feature and the spotlight on you, then you're more than welcome. Just let me know. And we're booked up now to the end of January for people being guests.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the more diverse, the better, because it's interesting just to get to know people. I mean, this is more to get to know who's on 𝗏𝗏est and how we can help each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've even had movie stars, haven't we, Slava? Yeah. Actually, he was asked if he wanted to, because he's an actor. He was asked if he could be a porn star, but you declined that one.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be in your virtual meeting room.
I would
in the locked room.
To have you, Slava.
Sorry, Maya, what?
You're welcome anytime. You can come 𝗏𝗏est and do your thing. No.
Actually,
thank you.
I keep thinking you're saying Elvis, right?
Elvis.
Yeah, but to me, I keep thinking it sounds like Elvis. And I think,
sorry.
Elvis
English is not my native language, James. Why do you have to bully me like this?
I'm not. I'm just saying. It's not you. It's my hearing. You see, I thought you said Elvis.
Aww.
I thought Elvis was back in the room. But anyway, we're pretty much done now. So I don't know. Maya, did you have anything else to ask?
No.
Oh, you did a recording. She was up at 2 o'clock this morning. Tell that story if you want. If people want to hear it, or you want to.
Okay. So basically, I'm trying to make YouTube videos for 𝗏𝗏est, and I have to record a voiceover, my voice. And my neighbor is pretty noisy. I don't know if you guys have heard his noise a little bit, but he's hammering something all day long. I don't know what it is. So I had to wake up at 2 a.m. to record my voice. I woke up and he decided to move the furniture. I swear to God, I was so close to going up to him and saying, please leave me alone. Let me work in peace.
Wow.
I recorded half of it and then my voice was getting sleepy and sick. So I went to bed. And this is my third coffee of the day.
Oh.
In a jam jar.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a super size.
Yeah, true.
Oh.
That's my story. Pretty sad.
But you also like to preserve, I mean, sustainability and preservation and stuff. So you don't have any mugs or anything in the house. You drink your coffee out of jam jars.
Well, actually, I do. I don't have like normal cups. I only have jars and containers I eat in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not poor, but I like.
Yeah, I'm not
You
gonna
are
ask.
environmentally friendly.
Yes.
You like to recycle, don't you, girl?
Yeah.
I admire you. Yes, a lot. We should do more of that, and let's buy. Mind you, I hope nobody's saying anything. Let's say, shut up.
Actually, like my dream job is to open my own sustainable fashion brand one day.
I'll join you. I'll join you anytime.
Aww.
Because I am on the same page. And I think I shared, you know how you apparently, that is what I understood. There's a problem with pronouncing your company's name.
Yeah.
Okay. As a language teacher, one of the strategies that we help for students to learn pronunciation is use a word in their own language that sounds exactly the same or very close to the word that I want to teach them. So for you, I thought about office, which is also something that you offer with office. And you know, give yourself some credit for your credibility, for your creativity as well, you know, because if you like poetry and you are into languages, there's, you know, a wide range for you to, you know, explore. And you know, with the open doors to building up little stories or just a line that is meaningful that you can link it with the company. The variety of things are just let your creativity, you know, fly. I'm sure that you're going to find the great things.
I thought about making like an intro for Ovis, and it's in Homer Simpson's voice.
Yes.
And saying it's Ovis, not Ovice.
Yeah, but you should say, because when I asked you, I mean, you said the relationship is to do with office.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you say it's not office, it's Ovis.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you have a tagline or anything? So Ovis is blah, 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 blah. Do you have a tagline or something?
Yeah. Ovis, make virtual seem real.
Marvelous. Okay.
James is speechless, and that is very hard to achieve. So congratulations.
Did you see the video with the 2 thumbs up from Kevin Harrington?
Absolutely, that's why.
Okay.
Why do you think? I watched it twice. You know,
I watched it twice. Okay.
Of course, there was something there that I needed to, you know, think about, and I'm glad that I did that.
Yeah, I invited Eva because I was a guest speaker on intonations, and then we had 361 people register actually, and kind of an audience of 100 or so, and then it was all recorded like this, but it was all about branding, personal branding, and interactive storytelling. And I was about kind of how you can make your stories powerful.
Why didn't you invite us?
I didn't know you then. Right? It was Monday.
Monday?
Did I?
I met you last Friday.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Well, you can see the recording. I recorded it.
Okay.
Yeah. watch the recording. You'll learn something. I did it with Pete, who's normally on here, but I don't know why he's not on today. Anyway, so we should wrap up now. So Eva, I sent you an invite to join 𝗦𝗧𝗢, so you'd like to join? And then
I would like to do some research and find out a little bit more about them and what they offer. And I'll definitely contact you as well. Thank you for inviting me, because the experience was very good, and it made me feel very at ease and comfortable almost instantly. Okay. So I appreciate that as well. So thank you. I'm glad that Maya shared her story. We go back to storytelling. Okay. And I found that extremely interesting and inspiring as well, because it only takes for one person to be able to share about what they do in a very natural and easy to understand way, to motivate others, you know, to do the same. So I appreciate that, Maya. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And thank you everyone as well for introducing us.
So we try to do this in a friendly way that it's not staged, it's not scripted, it's just kind of free flowing, and it's fun. So
that's the beauty of it, I think, because whenever I'm talking about me, when I go to meetings that are all very programmed, it's very restricted, and perhaps there is something extremely important that you see you would like to ask, and you cannot do that because it's not in the program. You know, and I'm left like wondering, I really enjoyed it, but have I really gotten as much as I would have liked? And it's not always like that, you know.
Yeah. And Slava, did you enjoy it?
Pardon?
You learned a lot?
You mean the...
He's just arrived.
Yes.
Go.
So Maya, I'm really very sorry.
No, it's fine. You're bad with timing.
Yeah, Slava is a porn movie star.
Oh my goodness. That's too much information, James.
All right, maybe I'll drop one word. He's a movie star.
Oh dear.
James.
Right, or should I drop it? He's a porn star. I don't know, that's the wrong word. I dropped it. But anyway, yeah, so Maya, I will send you a copy of this. I download it and put it onto YouTube, and then I make it available just to you, right? If you want to share it with Slava because you missed it, then you can do that. But typically it doesn't go out to the wider world. It's private to you. But you can use it how you wish, but you have to just bear in mind data protection and people's privacy if you're going to share it.
Can I show it to my team?
With your team, yeah, I guess that's okay. But it shouldn't be out on Next Minute. It's on Facebook or something.
No.
Right. And then when you finish your recording, then maybe you can ask us for feedback so we can tell you if it's good, bad, or ugly.
Okay.
Right. And yeah, with that, anything else to add from anyone? Victoria?
No, it was a fun session.
Right.
And as you can see, like the sun was just setting during the whole call, so now it's like darkness. But yeah, it was really fun call, really nice for ending my Friday. I've had a lot of tasks and calls today. So thank you, Maya.
It's fine.
And thank you everyone who participated.
All right. So on that note, you get a badge. Actually, I give you a Visibility Impact badge for being a guest speaker. So you'll get that on your profile on 𝗦𝗧𝗢𝗏.
I get a what?
A badge.
Badge. That's a very important thing.
Wow.
Woo!
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
Slava's got one. You got yours?
Yeah, thank you.
You get a badge. Yeah. And
Where is it? Where's my badge?
yeah, I have to do it in a minute.
You'll see it.
Yeah.
Jamie likes to prepare it.
Yeah, on that note, I wish everyone a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
And
Likewise.
we go back to the normal time next week. So it's back to 2 to 3 o'clock
Okay.
Central European time. So, and next speaker, yeah, let me just see who's next week. Right, I'm just going to tell you, I normally don't even know myself. So next week is, Roanna. She was actually on this call.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So we're going to learn all about her. It'll be about food, right?
food.
Right, yeah, and
We
about
should get some snacks and then
healthy
snack during the whole
eating.
time.
All bring food to the meeting.
Yeah, she'll be
Oh,
very
yes.
interesting. She's originally from Scotland, so she's got still a Scottish accent. So
Mhm.
I have to help with the translation there. So
we
yeah,
got
that would be fun. I'm looking forward to learning more about her. Okay, so wish you a great weekend and week ahead, and then yeah, feel free if you want to reach out. You know how to get hold of me if you need me for anything.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to my story and for being so nice and beautiful. Have a blessed, productive week. And
Yes.
thank you, Mr. James. You're the best.
You're welcome.
Ah, 2 thumbs up, everybody.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's going to be the new thing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay then.
Okay, guys.
Thank you,
Nice
everyone.
meeting you.
Bye, everyone.
And
Thanks. Bye.
bye.
Bye.